Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Tuesday, September 1st, 2015. We are out of August. 4 days left until the Labor Day weekend, when summer kind of semi-officially comes to an end usually, and people get back to the work of trading. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract daily chart, basically the S&P 500 broad market. And we had talked about this in the weekend preview, the drop that occurred over the last week and a half or so. We bounced on that from that low all the way back to the 62% fib, the 61.8 basically. And so Monday so far was a negative day. It was pretty flat most of the session. We have to remember that it was the last day of August. It was a Monday in summer, and it was also a holiday in the UK. So we only did about 1.6 billion shares on the NASDAQ. And when you look at the intraday action in a few minutes, you'll see how weak it was. But generally speaking, if there was a technical thing to note here, it's that we did stall out right at this fib line and could not go lower. Other than that, if I slide the chart, you can see we're still holding under the low close essentially from January. So except for the 2 days last week that we closed lower than this, we basically are at the low of the year for the close. So we'll go through the cash indices. The S&P lost 17. You can see it stalled out right at that 10-period EMA. The NDX lost 54 in the end. And that's interesting because when you see the intraday action, you'll realize it felt pretty flat all day. The stocks was down just 2 points. The biotechs, though, were down 114. It's a big rollover there. Google lost almost 12. Apple played around mostly in positive territory, but ended up losing 50 cents in the end. The VIX was back up 2.38, so we're starting to curl off the 10 EMA there. Oil was positive all the way back to $48.17. That's the static trend line, that green line we ran into from the last 9-bar startup phase to the downside. Gold added almost $3 as well, but still hanging underneath resistance and near to relative lows for the year. Trend closed at 1.17, and the 10-day moving average of the trend curled up to 1.52. We must have lost a low day in the 10 days there off the back end of that moving average. And then the advanced decline ratio was literally negative 95 on the NASDAQ, so almost exactly as many stocks up as they were down, and the volume was 1.6 billion shares, which is lighter than all of last week. So it was, it was a holiday environment. Now let's take a look at the intraday chart going on the ES here, and let me turn off some of the noise here. We'll get rid of the market directional tool because we don't need it for the purposes of this discussion. But as you can see, it was a pretty flat day. Friday was really flat, and then here we gapped down a little bit. We did not fill the gap. Made an attempt to just before lunch, but stalled out a couple points short of it. And then most of the day was very flat. We were sitting right on the VWAP midpoint area right up until about 5 minutes before the close, and then we had a big bar down for the last 5 minutes, and then the 3 candles that you see after the close, remember futures trade 15 minutes after the close, were also lower than that. So we really closed at 1968 from the stock market hours, but the 1963.25 was the final print before settlement for the futures. And then here's a look just to wrap it up, the NASDAQ side. A little more negative for the day, kind of an inverted cup and handle, but generally speaking, it was pretty weak. It was pretty boring there too. All right, so what do we have tomorrow? Well, we have printed the statements from August, so that's behind us. So we're now into September legitimately. We've got the ISM index and construction spending numbers 30 minutes into the market, auto and truck sales after the close tomorrow. And that's about it. At least it's no more holiday in the UK. And so we should have the next 3 days decent opportunities. Question is, are we just going to resume the sell-off that we were getting now that we've had the bounce and stall out? It'll be interesting to see what we get here. We'll be in the lab as usual, trying to help make some money. Charts brought to you by eSignal. And if you do find these videos useful, please like them on YouTube. It does help us out. Have a great trading Tuesday.